episode of the Shane Irving podcast. Praise Jesus and Allah and Buddha that we are joined by my good friend Burbank. Burbank, how the fuck are you, brother?
I'm doing excellent, just waiting for fucking spring and summer, waiting for some real sports to get kicked off here pretty soon. So
talk to me about the weather right now in Minnesota. What's up?
Okay, so we just went through our third, what they fucking call a polar vortex. Let's see, it started off with wind chills minus 35.
Come on, this week?
Yeah, and actually, Tori and Chris were in town for the week.
No shit?
Yeah, Tori was wearing every piece of fur and animal that she owns.
Clearly.
And so, yeah, she was in for the week, and the whole time it was below zero, and today we're up at, we got up to 12 degrees, and it feels like fucking summertime, so.
It's bikini weather.
Oh, absolutely.
Seriously, 10 degrees was the high?
Yeah, literally. Today was, we got up to 12 degrees, and it felt like it might as well have been fucking 40 degrees after what we've been going through.
I'm going to tell you, it was 25 degrees in Chicago today at some point, and everybody was just naked. It's in the streets butt-ass naked. It's like, fuck it, man. It's July here.
We live in the wrong part of the fucking country, dude.
Oh, guarantee, brother. It's a horrible place to live. It's depressing.com/heroin. That's all we're doing.
Absolutely.
Fuck it. I don't know. I always tell people I live in God's country, Chicago. Low taxes, zero crime, no regulation. It's the place you want to raise a fucking family.
Absolutely. Low crime rates for sure.
So I get a text this morning at about 7 a.m.
Yep.
Woken up by a text from the super that runs the building.
Uh-huh.
Hey, the water's off in the entire building, trying to figure out why. We'll update later. What the fuck? What do you mean? So by the time I finally get out of bed, I went back to sleep after that text. That's no reason to wake up.
Yeah, of course not.
I went back to sleep, I woke up, and I was like, man, I got to, wake up, got to take a piss, brush my teeth, do all that good stuff.
Yep.
So I, piss in the toilet, and then I try and flush. I'm like, oh, yeah, water's off. And there was just nothing to do. You couldn't. So I just left at I'm going to say 10 a.m. And went to the bar. And I've been hanging out at the bar all day. And now it's 9 o'clock at night. So I have, been participating in the Chicago lifestyle. Pretty.
Excellent. What were you enjoying at the bar today? And
I'm going to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Burbank. So I get to the bar about 10:30.
Yep.
And I just start ordering. They didn't have Tecate in a can, but they had PBR 16 ounce.
Okay.
To start drinking it. And the bar that's right around the corner from my house used to be a really cool biker bar. Now all the hipsters moved in and shit, so it's way calmer. But it's still, they got cheap beer.
Right, okay.
So I'm doing that all day. And then eventually I wander down to the liquor store. This is going to be around 2:33 in the afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
And the liquor store that I end up going to happens to be in a black neighborhood because somehow, some way, my day turned into somehow being in that neighborhood. I'm not going to explain why or what I was doing there, but I was there.
Yeah, it just happens sometimes.
Sometimes it just happens. So I just grabbed a couple of 40 ounces of my OE 800. And I had $6 on me, and that was all it cost.
Perfect. That's the beauty of the OE 800. You only need $6.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I love this country so much. As long as you can get an OE 800 for under $3 a piece, this country's going to be fucking fine.
What I call that is being fiscally responsible.
That's right. That's all it is. I mean, you're talking $5 and you can get a really good buzz.
Yeah, absolutely.
You want to spend $10? You could black out.
Yep.
That could happen for $10 in this country. Economy aside, that's a pretty good goddamn bargain for your dollar.
Absolutely. And, that's what you speaking of these hipsters that you were talking about.
Yeah.
That's my favorite thing is watching these fucking hipsters that, they come into the bar on their fucking 10-speed Schwinn that they probably stole from my little sister. And they're drinking all these fucking fancy beers, and then they don't have any fucking money, and they whine about, oh, I'm so broke, I'm a starving artist, all this shit. And it's, well, look at the fucking beer you're drinking. That one beer costs you $12, you dumb fuck.
Right. They're paying $18 for a six-pack. And you're like, well, go fuck yourself. I hope you are homeless.
Yeah, I just want to be like, dude, go shave that shitty mustache off your face. You're not fucking cool.
And what the hell's wrong with, getting some OE in your life?
Nothing.
There's nothing wrong. I guarantee if you put a taste test together with their fucking IPA bitter beer bullshit with a cup of OE's great. OE's a good fucking beer. It's good. It's, malt liquor, but it's a great beer.
Yeah, I mean, my micro brew of choice is King Cobra 40s.
Fuck yeah, that's a micro brew.
That's exactly. I want to go to a brewery tasting that shit.
I passed on the King Cobra, grabbed an OE. If I would have thought of you, I would have grabbed one of each. I'm sorry.
It's all good.
My apologies. You are a King Cobra fucking fanatic. So.
Oh, absolutely. King Cobra's in the park at 10 a.m. When I'm 14 years old. Dude,
that's called America.
Absolutely.
That's called that's called degenerate lifestyle. That's exactly my fucking point. It's like living the life you want to live.
Yep.
And just doing the goddamn thing.
Sleep all day, out all night. I know where you're going. I don't think that's acting right. You don't think it's showing.
Oh, hey, we got some phone calls.
Let's hear them.
You want to hear a couple phone calls?
Yeah, let's do it.
Burbank.
Yo.
All right, we got one coming straight out of the 801. I didn't mean the 801. I meant not the 818. 818, what's that?
That's Beachfront Avenue, according to Vanilla Ice.
801. It is the 801. Fuck the world. Here we go. Check it out.
Shay, James in Salt Lake City calling you back. Sober this time. I got a blackout drunk story for you. I was a younger man living in Italy at the time. My buddies and I, under the influence of various illegal substances, went to this big Italian discoteca and watched pretty Italian girls dancing around with no panties. Best night ever. Well, we proceeded to drink 3 fingers of Jack Daniels, followed by more 3 fingers of Jack Daniels. Started a fight with a bunch of Italian live-at-home mama's boys. Of course, got kicked out, thrown out on our faces. And the last thing I remember was hanging out the side of my buddy's 88 Fiat Punto, hurling my spitter at some hookers at a gas station as hard as I could. Have a good one. Love the podcast. Later, buddy.
Jesus Christ.
That's my kind of dude right there.
That's the kind of dude you want to meet at a bus stop?
Oh, absolutely I do.
Just hanging out at bus stops waiting for dudes, man. What are you doing?
Oh, just throwing spitters at hookers.
What the fuck? So he was in Italy, living in Italy. First off, What the fuck were you doing living in Italy? And why do you live in 801 is Salt Lake? Why are you living in Salt Lake? What the fuck happened to your dream? Where did it die? And what's her name?
And how many kids do you have now?
Exactly. How much blame can we put on the 3 children you have? And the last thing he remembers, first off, can we talk about the discoteca where the girls don't have panties?
I need to be there right now.
Yeah, where is that? Can we go tonight?
Yeah, let's do it.
Because that sounds amazing.
Yes.
And the last thing he remembers is throwing his spitter at hookers at a gas station as hard as he can.
Well, at least he wasn't throwing them softly. I mean, if you're going to throw it with some fucking force.
If you're going to make a mistake, you got to go full speed.
Absolutely.
Everybody knows that. But is that the reaction I have when I see hookers at a gas station? No, it's not.
No.
Especially if I'm drunk. That's the last reaction I have.
Usually I'm just throwing money at them.
I was going to say, usually my first reaction is pull the fuck over.
Right.
And then the money is thrown at them.
Mm-hmm.
Just so they can get it all, so they know that I'm willing to hang out and be friends.
Yeah, and I just like watching them bend over to pick it up off the ground.
I was a very bad man a long time ago. Burbank can testify to this story about how I would give money to the homeless in Minneapolis and St. Paul and the surrounding areas. I drove a vehicle that had a sunroof, And I had a lot of ones on me, like all the time. I wasn't a dancer, but I appreciated dancers, so I just always had ones on me. I had like $100 in ones on me, right? I mean, I was just fucking retarded with it. I don't know what was wrong with me, but I always had $1 bills. And so when I would see homeless people in like a busy intersection, it had to be busy, and it was a red light, I would just open the sunroof and throw, 20, 30, $40 in the air. And when you throw 20, 30, whatever, singles in the air, the wind takes it. And it just goes kind of everywhere. And the light turns green, and I drive away, and the homeless people are running in traffic in the middle of the street picking up money. And to watch them dodge traffic while picking up dollars off the floor just entertained me every now and then, that's all. I might be a bad person because of it. I don't do it anymore. I'm just saying it was an issue I had.
I can 100% verify. I've seen this happen on multiple occasions, and I've even seen it done with not just $1 bills, with just like cans full of change.
That's true. That's true. It's true.
So good.
It is true. I would throw just cans of change. That's right. I did do that.
Oh God, it was so funny.
The point I had was these guys, it was like homeless veteran, will do anything for work. Please help me get a job. And you throw $3 in the street, and that motherfucker, you will meet him at the liquor store in 30 seconds. He is there, and it's 4 miles away. And you're like, Jesus Christ, you might be the fastest man on the planet. And he is slamming a King Cobra outside.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, he's right behind you picking up either a King Cobra or an OE 800.
That was my favorite thing to do. You throw $3 in the street or $20, and they run and grab it, and then you literally drive to the closest liquor store and wait. You just wait. And then he runs up, and you're just like, oh, shit, it's that guy. And I'm like, oh, what's up, man? You need a job? I'll get you a job today, right now. He's like, no, fuck you, man. I need to get drunk. Hey, man, well, then, hey, give me an honest sign. I'll give you more money. First off, a little degen word to the wise. Gay dudes always have the best meth. Always.
Oh, they have not only the best meth, but the best connection for pretty much any drug, and they're always so generous with it for some reason.
That is true. They do. They do seem to pass it out to men more often than not.
Yeah, see, they're not like me because I fucking hoard that shit and hide that shit because I want to save it for myself. Fuck you. Fuck the rest of them.
Right, a little Philip Seymour Hoffman action there.
Absolutely.
But note to self and note to everybody listening, let go of all your hate and fear and just open up to the gay lifestyle because those dudes have the best drugs in the country.
Yeah, and they know how to party, man.
Oh, man, they know. I used to, full disclosure, statute of limitations is over. You guys can all suck my dick. But when I was in Irving, I was selling meth to some gay dudes in Dallas because, I knew a couple Koreans and they were getting the shards back then. It was, the see-through shit, the good shit, right?
Right.
So, one thing led to another, and I got introduced to this gay dude, and he was just a fiend for it. It was great, and I was making all kinds of money, and he's buying it a gram at a time. He didn't need to buy, just gram, over and over and over. And
those are the best customers.
He was amazing. It was $120 a gram back then, and it was just nobody. He never said word, none to no. Let me get a ball, quarters in, nothing. Just gram, all day long. So one time he tells me, hey, meet me at this place on Harry Hines Boulevard, this bookstore. And I was like, okay. So it's called the Paris Adult Bookstore on Harry Hines Boulevard. And at this point, I'm 17 years old, and I've, been around the block a time or two, but I don't have a whole lot of history and or, understanding of the gay culture or population, right?
Yep.
So I go to this bookstore, and it's a porn shop. There's dildos and DVDs and all this stuff. And I was like, oh, okay, whatever. And I'm looking for him, and he's like, room 42 or whatever. It's down the back hall. I'm like, what the fuck? So I go down the back hall, and I look up, and there's this big video screen, but it's just like a marquee from like an old-time movie theater. Like it says like what rooms are open and what movies are playing in those rooms. And what rooms, they have buttons like red button is full, and when it's not clicked on, then it's empty, etc. And I look at this thing, look for room 42, and I look to my right, and I look to my left, and there's like 6 or 7 dudes on each side, and all of them look like, my dad or somebody else's dad or like a banker type, like a working man.
Right.
Wedding rings on, the whole bit. So I'm like, oh, what the fuck are these guys doing? So I walk down the hall, room 42, knock on the door, and after, a couple seconds, they open the door. I guess they were getting their clothes on. I serve them their dope, and I turn around and I leave, and there's guys following me down the hallway. And I'm like, yeah, that's weird. And I was like, wait a minute. These dudes are all meeting up to have sex in here. These guys are all having the sex. And they're all married to women. This is back in the day. There's no gay marriage back then, especially in Texas. But I was like, wait a minute. Wait a goddamn minute. So you're telling me all these porno shops where I would buy the DVDs and whatnot are all just hangouts for closeted gay men to have the sex?
Yeah, it's kind of like rest areas on the road, on the interstate in the United States.
Yeah, but I had no idea at 17. I just didn't know.
Of course not.
I didn't know that was going on, and I don't know how many times I was like, hey, man, I'm going to pull over to this porno shop here and jerk off in one of these booths.
Well, of course. Why wouldn't you?
Well, it's a long road trip. I'm 17. I got an erection. I need to masturbate. And thank God I never did.
Yeah, you would have had a big surprise, as they say.
Yeah. The biggest. Hopefully not. It was just awkward. I guess that was my first thought process as far as like, man, all these dudes are married with kids, presumably, and they're out there having sex with other men.
Well, that just shows you the sanctimony of marriage, Mm-hmm. I mean, these women are not doing their job if these guys are out looking for some dude to suck their dick.
That was too much teeth. It's not gay if you're on top. Everybody knows that. Burbank.
Yeah, obviously.
Or underwater. Anyway.
Remember, speaking of bums with jobs, remember Jimmy the bum?
The crackhead?
Yep.
Jimmy the crackhead?
Yeah, who lived at the homeless shelter, who would show up to work with sausages wrapped in napkins stuffed in his sock.
I remember Jimmy the Bum, yeah. All right, little backstory. Burbank and I knew of a man named Jimmy the Bum. He was a white guy, about 6'2", 150.
Yep.
Had some really weird Brillepad haircut. It was an afro.
Yeah, white guy fro.
White guy, afro. Had a creepy mustache, right?
Oh, yes.
Really creepy mustache, petter-ass mustache. He lived at a homeless shelter run by the Catholic Charities or some shit.
Right.
But Jimmy the Bum had a great little plan. He would just buy crack every time he got paid at his job. And he had a good job. He made good money. And he would just spend $2,000 on crack every other Friday. So Jimmy the Bum and I got to talking one day. And I said, Jimmy, tell me how you smoke crack. And Jimmy the Bum would say, I'll go pick up a whole lot of, he was a bum, so he didn't understand, like, you buy in quantity, you get a discount.
Right.
He'd say, I go pick up 10 50 rocks. I said, why would you pick up 10 50? Why don't you just go get a fucking ounce of crack somewhere? What do you mean? Oh, Jesus Christ, Jimmy. So this is what Jimmy would do. He would get about 10 50 rocks for $500, but then he would only break off little bitty pieces of the rock and smoke it. Right? You remember this shit?
Oh, yeah.
And he would just smoke it. Like, he would smoke a little bit of rock, and then he'd just sit down and get high and just stay high. And then he would smoke a little rock again, and he would just be awake for a couple days, right?
Oh, yeah.
And that's how he would get high. It was the delirium that you get from not sleeping for 2 days. I said, Jimmy, why the fuck don't you just roast up that whole 50-piece? And he just looked at me crooked like, wait, what? It's like, yeah, Jimmy, what the fuck? You just get a bigger goddamn pipe. You don't have to suck a glass dick. That roast stem ain't it, brother. You go get a bigger pipe. It's not a big deal. And he just looked at me crooked. And that was the last time I saw Jimmy the Bum for a couple of weeks.
Yep.
He took our advice as far as smoking bigger rocks. And I didn't see him for like 15 days. And when I did see him, he had like pieces of hair missing. He had a fucking shoe on. He had sausages in his sock. Like, he was... This dude was running on empty. And I was like, Jimmy, where the fuck have you been? I ain't seen you in weeks. He said, wow, you son of a bitch. I took your advice on crack smoking. And I hate you. And I was like, Jesus. And then about 5 years later, we ran into Jimmy the Bum at a boxing match at Target Center.
Yep.
In Minneapolis. And Jimmy the Bum was the slushy guy walking around. Hey, slushy here, slushy. He had a crazy voice. He had an amazing voice. It was very loud. It boomed. It was a strong voice. And we were like, holy shit, Jimmy the Bum. And he looked at us, and he just spills his fucking Slurpee all over this nice white woman. Like, right on her fucking head, like crown of her head. Pours down her face, all down her blouse. I mean, it was... And we were like, oh shit, Jimmy the Bum got fired. That was it.
Yeah, because I think he put down his tray and ran and took off.
He literally put his tray down and ran up the stairs. We were like, see you, Jimmy. And that was it. I guarantee Jimmy stole all that money and bought a couple 50 pieces.
For sure.
God, Jimmy the Bum was a good dude.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, I used to be able to pick Jimmy the Bum up from his afro. His afro was so strong, I would deadlift him off the ground just by pulling his hair up. Remember that, Burbank?
Oh, yes.
Unbelievable. Jimmy the Bum's afro was like fucking plutonium. That shit was so strong. I would pull the man up by his fucking afro and deadlift him off the ground.
Yeah, I don't know how he was able to do it. He must have had some like soul glow up in that shit or something.
I really think he would take his hair, cut it off, and use it as a charboy and just put it in the pipe. I'm not fucking around. I really do. I think he uses hair as a charboy.
Well, he is a resourceful dude. I mean, fuck.
Oh, yeah, he's a MacGyver with a crack pipe. He's phenomenal, dude. He'd make crack pipe out of anything.
Dude, anyone that can smoke crack for like... He had been smoking crack on a regular basis for like 30 fucking years.
Since crack came out. He was there like the day crack was invented. He was. I'm not kidding. Sure. He was there the day it was invented. He's been smoking crack ever since.
Yep.
He's a phenomenal goddamn crack smoker. I mean, that's the other side of living the degenerate lifestyle, right?
True.
I mean, the shit catches up with you, man. You can't do this shit forever.
No, you certainly can't. You can try, though.
You can absolutely try. Blackout story, Burbank. I need your best one.
Wow, well, you know, I've got a lot of them, fortunately / unfortunately. I think the one that, you know, as you stated last time I was on the show, I'm originally from Southern California, right?
Yes.
So there was multiple times that my drinking on an, you know, early morning, afternoon, whenever the time was, would start in Southern California, you know?
Oh, yeah.
And there was on more than one occasion, somehow, some way, I would end up in Vegas. And one time I came to from my blackout. I started drinking in Los Angeles, California at about 10 a.m. When I came to, it was about midnight that same day. So, you know, we're talking about 14 hours later. And I was on the Strip in Vegas, and I was talking to the police.
Oh,
and I had no idea why. I had no idea where I was, except for, oh, shit, I must be in Vegas. Look at all these fucking hookers walking around. Sweet.
Hell yeah.
And so I'm talking to the cops. I have no idea why I'm talking to the cops. Knowing, you know, me and my history, it could be for any number of reasons. Apparently, what had happened was, this was back in the day before, you know, iPods and MP3s and all that. This was back in the day when you carried the CD book, you know, the Case Logic with all your CDs
Hell
in it,
yeah.
right? Apparently, I was driving down the Strip in my car with the windows down, thinking and pretending that my CDs were Ninja Stars.
Oh, no.
And I was throwing them at other vehicles and other people and saying, Hadouken, Hadouken, and, you know, quoting Street Fighter. Oh,
quoting Street Fighter in Vegas?
Oh, absolutely.
How dare they arrest you?
I thought they should have given me an award or something.
Fuck yeah, key to the goddamn city.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, needless to say, I got to spend the night in the lovely correctional facilities that Vegas provides.
Clark County, great place.
Oh, yeah, it's just wonderful. And I got out and went and met up with a lady of the night. So it was great.
Excellent. So proud of that. That's a good blackout story.
Yeah, it is good, you know. My mom loves it.
Oh, that's got to be one of her favorites.
Absolutely.
Dude. My favorite blackout. God, man, there's so many. I will. Oh man, this is really. Let's just say back in the day, Shane Irving had what some might call a crack cocaine habit.
Socially.
I was a social crack user. It's not a big deal.
Absolutely.
Let me just preface this by saying that ShaneIrving.com and the Shane Irving podcast is not right now, say go get high and go do as many bad drugs as possible. But I think there is something to say about a man living his life as he chooses. And I think there is something to say about getting into a sticky situation or maybe a dangerous situation because it makes you feel alive or you've risked something. I think there are merits to that and coming out the back end alive. I get upset when I sit down and play poker and I'm playing against a 23-year-old kid that's never played live poker before or he has played live poker with a couple buddies and he's trying to bet big fucking stacks and he's looking at me crooked like he's going to do something about it.
Right.
After I re-raise him. I think there has been, I don't want to say a pussification of America because I think it's a lazy argument and a stupid argument, an uneducated and dumb argument. But I think there is a tendency to persuade the degenerate not to be himself. And I think when a degenerate hides his true ambition, it comes out crooked, whether that be, divorce or cheating on your wife or maybe doing something real fucked up. I don't know. But I think if you just follow the path that you've already been emblazoned on and live your goddamn life like you're meant to live it with some risks and some rewards and some bruises and nicks and cuts and jail nights, I don't think you're that much worse off of a person. I don't. I don't see a moral objection to smoking crack cocaine. I never will. I don't see a moral objection for a woman selling her body. God bless her.
Absolutely. I mean,
salt to the goddamn earth. But my best one of my favorite blackouts is from crack cocaine. If you know anybody that does smoke crack and or do cocaine, if they do enough, they'll black the fuck out.
Right.
That happened to me a lot. One time I would drive. I would smoke crack and drive, and I would wake up. Anyway, favorite blackout story that I can tell on the podcast. I can tell anything on the podcast. Fuck it. But I'm going to say
beauty of the internet.
Yeah, we are on the interwebs. My favorite is I met up with a friend of mine at the time, and we started smoking meth. Mm-hmm. And then the day later, we were drinking and trying to come down, and then we started smoking crack.
Right.
It got blurry after that, but I do remember picking up a vial of liquid. Acid with him. Him and I went in together and bought a vial of liquid. So we had to test out the liquid.
Of course.
To see if it was any good, because we got such a good price. We were like, they probably ripped us off. So we get the blotter out, and we lick the edge of the vial, and wait 30 minutes, an hour, nothing really. So then we just start dropping them on our tongue. I'm talking 5-6 drops at a time. He took 5-6 drops at a time. We're just squeezing the fucking dropper out on our tongue. All the while, we continue smoking crack. And I don't know what happened after that. I do remember driving down Beltline Road in Irving, Texas, in a 2-door Subaru Impreza.
Ooh, nice.
And the whole thing was clouded with smoke. The whole thing inside the vehicle was just smoke everywhere. And that's when I came to. I was driving. And I came to behind the wheel, and the whole place was just filled with smoke. And it wasn't smoke like, oh, we just hotboxed this Subaru. It was smoke like somebody's burning down a fucking church. Like, we're all going to die smoke.
Right.
And I
get the fuck out smoke.
And so I'm rolling the window down. Of course, there's no power window. I got to fucking crank it. I'm cranking it and screaming at the guy next. What the fuck is going on? He's like, I don't know. I don't fucking know. And I look in the back seat, and there's a towel in the back seat, and it's on fire. Literally on fire. My guess is somebody either put, it had to be a cigarette. Right. It had to be. And the fucker just lit up. And so we're screaming, driving down Beltline Road, and it's daylight, probably 3, 4 in the afternoon. And we're weaving all over traffic, and somehow I reach behind the goddamn driver's seat and grab the towel and throw it out. And that was probably my funniest blackout.
Oh, God. Nothing like doing that at 3 or 4 in the afternoon.
Yeah, acid and crack. That was actually the second time that I smoked crack and tripped acid at the same night, which is a horrible combination for anybody wondering.
I was going to say, that sounds like a lovely little cocktail.
Man, I remember once I stole my old lady's car at the time. She was going to SMU in Dallas.
Right.
I was not enrolled in any school at the time. I stole her red Volkswagen Jetta, and I went to the 7-Eleven to get some smokes. I don't know why I stole her car, but I stole her car after it dropped her off at the dorm room, and I just went to the parking lot and took her car. And because I'm an asshole, I don't know what I was thinking. But I met up with a couple of homeless guys at the 7-Eleven who were trying to sell fake gold. They said, "Oh, my friend's dying. Look at him in the car. He's going to die." And I look over in the car, and this ZZ Top looking motherfucker with a white beard is just hunched over like, "I'm going to die." He's like, "We're trying to sell this gold to raise money for his chemo, right?" Mm-hmm. And you call bullshit when you see it, bullshit, right. Bullshit. I was like, "You motherfucker." I was like, first off, y'all need to get the hell out of this neighborhood because it's way too nice for you to try and pull a fucking fast one on some people over here. And they were like, "Oh, really, man?" They figured out I was down. Well, turns out they had crack, and I had some acid, so I was like, let's get in the car.
Yeah, absolutely. Sounds like a good trade.
Yeah, and we drove around Dallas smoking crack and tripping on acid in my stolen girlfriend's car with 3 homeless dudes, man. That was one of the best nights of my life. That was fucking awesome. That was awesome.
Man.
Anyway, yeah, so let's not...
That's something you can tell your grandkids about someday.
Yeah. I definitely told the old lady about it years later, and she was still pissed. Because I don't know what they did in the back seat, man. I was driving a fucking red Jetta. And I remember telling them, "Hey, don't try and rape me, man. I got a gun."
Don't try and rape me. I got a gun. How many times have I said that?
If I had a nickel for every time.
Riders on the storm. Riders on the storm. Into this house we're born. Into this world we're thrown. Like a dog without a bone, an actor out alone. Riders on the storm. There's a killer on the road. His brain is squirming like a toad. Take a long holiday. Let your children play. If you give this man a ride, sweet family will die. Killer on the road. Yeah. Riders on the storm. Riders on the storm. Into this house we're born. Into this world we're thrown. Like a dog without a bone, and actor out on loan. Riders on the storm.